The internet's all over it.
No, what he does, what he does is he you say there's a problem in the flow of conversation. His beard lights up and it's all get sorted. But yeah, it's still a bit weird for whatever reason. It's not quite working at the
Yeah.
moment, but
No,
we'll get there.
no.
Oh, it's all sorted. It's all sorted now.
Apparently, it's
Yeah.
all sorted.
Great. No, okay. So we're on with Beechy and Blackers. At home with Beechy and Blackers. Um, I just want to show you what I'm having for lunch, and I've had to get the timing quite right on this.
Go on.
I've got a lovely bowl
Hang on,
of
hang on. I'm getting loads of. I can hear myself. Is Big Al got his speaker on or his mic? There we go.
maybe dairy.
There we go. Right, come on. What you got?
What I've got a lovely bowl of cream and tomato soup.
Oh, look at that.
Heinz. Now, last week, people complained that when I ate, they couldn't hear me. So I thought they couldn't understand what I was saying. So what I thought I'd do is I'll try it with soup.
Go on. Oh.
Lovely that. Um,
Let's
and
have a
what I've
couple
got with
more
me,
then.
I've got a lovely mature cheese, extra mature cheese, so no butter.
You dipping it
Not in
in?
it. Oh,
Look at that.
right. It's absolutely magnificent. Very,
What
very
sort of
nice. So, well,
let's- what sort of flavours you getting hit there, mate? What first of all arrives in the palate? Just talk us through that a little bit. Don't rush.
when I've got the cheese and the soup.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through it. This is a bit with a bit of crust. And what I like is the cheese falls in the soup.
God,
First, I get hit with the maltiness of the bread.
that's a texture
And,
thing. Okay.
and the dryness of the crust leads you in
Mm.
to the richness of the vintage extra mature cheese. And then you get hit by this processed creamy tomato flavour. And it's like it's got a twang, but a creaminess.
Right.
And eventually, it all just blends in together. And if you keep dipping, you get little bits of cheese going in there. Let me tell you what I mean.
Yeah. Little cheese floaters.
Little cheese going in there.
Oh, nice.
And that melts gloriously into the soup.
That's a nice lunch you got there, mate.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it later. I've just been for a cheeky little run. First run in
Yeah.
7 months. And this
Wow.
is just hitting the spot.
See, the
Cool.
exercise for me dropped off a bit. I've got to get back on it.
Aren't you training for the cycle event, though?
Yeah, but it's just because it's been so wet. Oh, mate, I've not wanted to go out on the old bike. It's been tough.
You're still skipping.
Yeah, I was, and then we got a trampoline at Christmas from me in-laws for the kids, and that's sort of taken up the whole garden where I used to skip. So, yeah, I've not found a new spot yet, but I'll get it sorted. I might do that today, actually. I have taken up another lockdown hobby, though, mate.
Yeah, what's that?
So I've got myself a pack of cards, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to master the art of playing cards as a weapon.
Yeah.
So there's certain ways you can hold them,
Yeah.
but you know when you get that flick of the
Yeah,
wrist.
I used to try and flick him each other's heads in school.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the motion you're going for.
Hmm.
Bat, like that. Bat. So I'm trying to master the art of card throwing. Because there's YouTube videos of blokes cutting like bananas in half and they stick into fruit, and it's pretty.
How far away is a banana?
Um, I'd say 10, 12 feet.
Get out of here! Serious?
Yeah, yeah. Have a look on YouTube. They are coming out at an alarming rate. Like I can't quite get them to. the idea is it flies dead, dead straight, spinning on itself.
Wow.
Anyway, I've been working on that. There's a little lockdown hobby, just to while away the long evenings. But anyway, apparently lockdown isn't working. So,
Yeah, let's talk about the news. Um, there's quite a few. Oh, which is lovely.
well,
Quite a few things to pick up
I've,
on.
yeah, I've got it here. Number 10 briefing announced for later today, 5 o'clock. Initial reports are suggesting that lockdown 3.0 isn't working. That the rates are still going up in the first few days of lockdown. But I mean, we're in week 2 or 3 now, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. So I think what they're saying is, can you still hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear, mate.
Great. I've just noticed that the Facebook looks a bit static. So but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, in terms of viewings and stuff, a bit static.
Oh,
Didn't know if it was working or not. But anyway, yeah. So the news is that it's not working, but that's based on the first couple of weeks of lockdown. But this expert, number 10 briefing later, UK expert says lockdown not working. So I'll just check this news article out.
yeah,
No decline in infections in first days of latest lockdown. Education Secretary says schools will get 2 weeks' notice to open, and that's basically what the news is. Um, Boris Johnson says it's too early to say when restrictions will be lifted. Now, we obviously keeping our eyes on things a lot because of events and tours and things that we do
yeah.
and leading churches and stuff like that. But I think our gut feel is this ain't going away quickly, and that's our suspicions about it.
Well, yeah, we did have a little chat offline earlier saying perhaps lockdown will run till March, April, possibly Easter. They might pull us out of lockdown in Easter. Um, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I certainly feel for a lot of people who are shielding because some people, like my mum, for example, been shielding for ages since like March last year, and there's loads of people like that. So
Yeah.
it's hard going for a lot of people.
Well, in places like Bradford and others, have effectively been in lockdown since the start.
Have they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So some of the northern areas, particularly, have really
Yeah,
been suffering, where their economies are suffering and all sorts of things. So
yeah,
it's a hard one. But my feeling is we're not going to get back to a semblance of normality for some significant period of time. So we have to start learning to live our lives well in under a different scenario. And
yeah,
one of my mates was reflecting with me, and I was sharing with my church. We had a prayer meeting Wednesday night. That actually, one of the things that's out there is that we've had very privileged and almost spoiled lives. We expect to be able to go to a nice restaurant or a restaurant, go out for a curry, have a couple of beers, jump on a budget flight, go to the sun, get in
yeah,
your car, go wherever you want. Most people in the world don't actually live their lives like that. Most people in the world,
no,
they're born, they stay local, they live with their families, they have subsistence farming or just small
yeah,
local economies to keep themselves going. Don't expect to be able to go out all the time. Don't expect to jump on budget flights to go on holidays, have the latest car, blah 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 blah. And in one sense, we are being recalibrated, and we're living even now with the quality of our housing and stuff. For most people, living better than most people in the world anyway.
yeah,
But things are shrinking. As I just said to you a couple of times, or people a couple of times, one of the funny things I've noticed is that, um, you know, like a year ago, I'd be saying to Karen, after 20 years of travel, I'd be 25 years of travel, I'd be saying to Karen, I'm off to Cambodia next week, then I'm going to Brazil, then I'm back for a few days, then I'm off to London,
yeah.
then I'm back for it. Karen would even blink. Now she's saying to me, what are you going upstairs for? Because all our lives are just they're different now, aren't they?
Yeah,
So actually, just going out
yeah,
for a
no,
little
it's true.
half hour run, I just felt free.
It's good, mate. It's
Amazing.
good. It's good to do. But I think you're right about a recalibration in a lot of senses because often it's pandemics or it's crisis like this that really bring a bit of a leveler to the world. And
Mm.
but what it also does, it shows how stark the divide is. Because I was reading something, I'm sure, I think it was the World Health Organization, and they were saying how the world's poorest countries are desperately struggling because the richer countries, us,
Yeah.
we've got these vaccines and we're jabbing ourselves first, and nothing's getting shared out, you know. So their concern is for the
Oh yeah,
world's poor.
that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Yeah.
They're not getting the
Peter Jones.
vaccines.
Peter Jones says, I've stopped my van in the snowy woods to listen in cheese and pickle roll, crisps and an apple with a flask of black tea, a Forester's daily. Ah, that's good, isn't
There
it?
you
Thanks for
go.
tuning in, putting the fan over. Tim Gilbert, he's just
Yeah,
said, the lockdown's working here in Torwich. He's only got 69 cases per 100,000. 69
yeah,
cases per 100,000.
that's
We
pretty
got
special.
about five,
That.
isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
But
I
it is
looked at
day 7, isn't it?
I looked at Brentwood. I think Brentwood was really high, like 1,200 or something. And Brentwood's not a big place. Or was it Brentwood or Basildon, something like that nearby? They're getting hit
Mm.
hard, you know.
Yeah, Essex has been really hit, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, a lot of
yeah,
people were
yeah,
talking about the Nightingale hospitals not being
yeah,
open, but they're actually opening up again, aren't they? It's been in the news
yeah,
down in
yeah. No,
Exeter.
that's right, mate. Yeah, I saw
Now that's
that
interesting.
military
It's
involved.
opened down in Exeter because some people living in Devon have said they've hardly got any cases, like Tim, but uh, but they've opened the one in Exeter. Maybe they're going to open more in due course. I don't know. Just trawling the comments at the moment to see what people
All
are
right,
saying,
mate.
but I can't seem to work out how to open them all. It's really weird. I can't. Sometimes when we're doing this, I can't actually open the comments, and I don't
Can't
know.
you?
I don't know why that is. No, I can't. I can't see them all. It's like it keeps freezing and doing weird things. Anyway, mate, what you got on your what's on the food cam today?
Should we go over to food camp? Do you fancy a little look?
I'm
See.
going to go to food cam. Go to food cam.
All right, mate. I'm gonna go to food camp. Oh, I'm over by food cam. Are you there?
Yeah, well, I can't see you. I
Well,
can't,
we just got to wait for operator Al to flick over. I think. If oh,
okay.
have we? All right, we flicked.
Yeah, I might be a bit of lag on Facebook. I don't know.
All right.
But
So
I
I'm
can't
here.
see it on the beaming screen. I can't see what you're doing.
You can't see me at all.
No.
Maybe you need maybe you need a feed. Big Al needs to send you the VMix feedback. Does he? All right. He
I
says it's
can't
all
see it.
done, but I can still see my camera looking at a curtain.
Yeah, that's what I can see.
Um, it's live, but Carl
Yeah, they
can't see
can't,
it. Is what we're saying.
and they can't see it on Facebook. Oh, I can see it on. It's appeared on Facebook. It's appeared on Facebook, but it's not appeared. It's not appeared on VMix. Right. Okay.
Right. Well,
Okay. Mate,
while
take a food cam.
Big Al is all over it. Here we go. Right. Welcome to Food Camp. It's nice to have you over here. Um, we do take recommendations. It's just worth saying. If you want anything in particular, let me know. Mate, I've got here a lovely bit of whole grain, whole meal
Just while you're
farmhouse.
doing that, mate, David Evans just saying he's having fried cod for lunch.
Fried cod.
Yeah, that's a bit good, isn't it?
That's special, isn't it? Right, I have
Yeah.
turned on the George. If you're new to the broadcast, we do a little cooking section called Food Cam, and we've got this luxurious George Foreman. Can I just say, if Anne is watching from the office, I clean this grill. Anyway, uh, so I've got some wholemeal here because when you get to our age, mate, you start thinking about fibre, don't you?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
absolutely. Yeah.
So what I'm going for is I was in Aldi the other day and I found this cranberry and port, and I thought
Yeah.
that could be special. So here we go. All you need to do if you're watching at home, get yourself a lovely bit of Somerset brie. And I'm not going to put butter in there or anything like that. I think my
No, I don't
cholesterol's
like
probably
butter
high
on
enough.
sandwiches actually. I don't like it.
No,
Oh,
no, you
look
don't
at
want to go
that.
crazy. Yeah,
No, that's good.
I got a letter through from the doctor the other day, mate. Apparently, because I'm 41, I'm now in the 41 to 70 bracket, so I can have an MOT,
You
health
can have it.
MOT. I've been putting it off, if I'm totally honest, because I imagine
Yeah,
the numbers will be
that's what
quite
I did.
horrific. I feel all right, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, like
Right?
this running thing. Everyone told me to see a physiotherapist before I started running.
Yeah.
I just started running because I felt all right. I'll probably get in trouble
Well,
for saying that, but and I've been for a run. I feel all
um,
right.
well, yeah. I mean, that's what it's about, isn't it?
No, I think so.
Right. I'll suggest quite a liberal coating of cranberry because I think with the strength of the brie, I think you're gonna,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just gonna work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll obviously let you know on the palate as I eat this.
Peter
I
Jones
might just
says
put.
Peter Jones says
Yeah.
you should put butter on the outside to crisp it up in the George Foreman.
Well, I like it. I'll just put a little dash of pepper and salt in there. Just pep it up a little. Um, I would, but with the cheese, I don't want to overdo the cholesterol. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the saturated fats. So I've got to be a little bit careful. So fairly simple. Cranberry, brie in a nice farmhouse bloomer. There you go. As you can see, that has gone together lovely. Follow me over this way, and we'll get this in the George.
How long you had a George then?
We got it at Christmas. In-laws bought it for us.
You liked it so far?
Mate, you can do so much. Oh, food camp. All right, we're back. Yeah, I do like the George. And one of the things I'm going to be doing maybe next week is teriyaki sliced beef rolls. So look out for those. Right, I'm going to leave that in there for a minute. I'll leave food cam here and go back to my laptop. There we go. And that'll just be a few minutes.
Lovely.
And I'm back at the laptop. There we are.
Um, Another little food tip I've discovered
Yeah,
is if a lot of people are doing dry January, or not drinking during the week or whatever. I've been tasting and testing zero alcohol beers for some time,
yeah,
probably over the last 6 months during the week, and I've discovered one I'd not come across before. It's called Freedom, and it's made by the same company as Estrella. And I'm telling you, it tastes just like beer. No, it's the closest one I come to, and I found out why. Because they put a bit of fructose in it to give it a bit more sweetness and depth.
Ah,
But it's just
nice.
sugar. But it's still many lower calories than alcohol, and obviously no alcohol. Freedom comes in
Does
a
it?
blue
Where'd you
briefing.
get it from?
Morrison's.
Morrison's.
Yeah,
That's a
very
good
very good.
recommend,
So
that
how
mate.
long? Yeah, Freedom blue tin. Made by the
Yeah,
Estrella Company. Very, very nice. Comes in 330mm cans. You get six for a few quid, on offer. Very
that's
good.
nice. Yeah, nice.
Anyway, how long's the George Foreman take then?
Well, I suspect 3 or 4 minutes. It don't take long, obviously, because it's cooking from the top and the bottom. So it's a great little invention. You do.
Two.
Can I just say, if you use a George, when you get your food out, just give it 1 minute, turn it off. Never use water with electrics. Turn it off at the wall, but while it's still hot, get a wet sponge, wipe it down. It is good to go. I have to confess, the George Foreman at the office, the hub, the CVM hub, has not been treated by me with the same love, care, and attention. That has it did get left a few times in a very poor condition, but I've changed my
Did it get a bit
ways.
rusty?
Yeah,
I'll tell you another thing that's in the news that struck me. The
yeah,
storm, Chris. Can you imagine just like
yeah.
you know? Like you just moved house, you set a business up, or you've been to your family home for years, and you just get washed out, flooded. You know, people in Hebden Bridge happened before, a year ago, whatever. And then that same time of the year, it's February, March, happens all over again. Just losing everything. You can't get your house insurance to pay out. And can you imagine what that would feel like? Starts hard, isn't it?
mate.
That's super
And it
tough.
looked like, yeah, it's looking like I'm getting pictures of a heavy snowfall, but then turn into rain. And you know the Manchester area pretty well. It's looking like Didsbury and these sorts of places getting pummeled.
Tim Gilbert's just said, I'm getting the same feeling watching Food Cam I got when I watched the first episode of Big Brother. I'm not saying I want you both sleep, but it's similar.
What's he saying? He wants to sleep, Cam. He wants to watch us
No,
asleep.
like, yeah, it's like that Big Brother voyeuristic thing, isn't it? Where you're just like, what's actually happening?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like that, and that's what we're trying to create.
I find that even a camera focused on a George, he's rich and compelling content. That's what I think.
The camera's still there. We can cut back to it at any point. It's just there.
Let's have a look.
There you go.
There we go. Look, that is a George
Shall I?
in action.
I'll lift the lid. Hang on. Let's have a look. Hang on.
I'm amazed it's not going to stick without any butter.
No, mate. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Look
Oh,
at that!
look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's non-stick, mate. It is absolute. Oh, all right. I think that's ready. I might get that out actually. Turn the George off. Let's get you back to here, and let's give you a better. I'll just bring it over. Here we go.
Could
I'll
you
just
get
get that on there.
sandwiches in there? Couldn't you?
Oh, mate, you can get loads in there. What we do is just get that through there, look, and then we'll bring you in. We'll bring you in. Look at this. Look at that.
That's good, though, mate.
Yeah,
And no butter, just a
no
load of
butter.
brie.
Yeah, about half a slab of brie went into that. As always, there's no plates when I want one, so I'll have to go over here. There we go. I'll bring that over to the food area, food tasting area, and we'll let you know. I think presentation's key as well. Can I just say you got to,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
beautiful, beautiful.
Just like that. I'll let you know. Bear with me just 1 second.
Al Weller says, when I want to make a toast, I do it over the fire. Well,
Oh,
it says apparently the Facebook feed's been cut off. We're having trouble playing this video.
do you think we're being? It's
Not on
running.
my
Apparently,
feed.
we're not. We're being censored.
Look at my feed, Al. No, seriously, you don't believe me. Whenever I tell you these things, I'm going to take a photo and I'm going to show you. I'm going to text it to you right now.
He's saying it's all good, isn't?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But it's because they don't believe me because they think I don't know anything that what I'm talking about. It happens all the time. They just literally don't believe me at all. Look,
So,
here
if
we go.
you are
So send
tuning
it.
in for the first time, this is the lunch hour at home with Beechy and Blackers. We basically just hang out, eat our lunch. We've got a food cam. We talk news, current affairs, bit of a Bible study. Just hang out for an hour. So, welcome. You've joined us.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
it's low key.
delightful.
Chat with the guys, bit of banter, see what comes in. Like, it's very weird at the moment. I can't see my own video. Peter Jones, a teriyaki beef roll. I better find somewhere in Singapore next week to watch that in the woods. Mind you, I'll make sure I have more than a cheese butty, or I will be jailed. So,
So we've got a bloke in the woods on his lunch break tuning in. That's brilliant. That's what it's all about.
yeah, it's lovely. Well, that's what we're here for. Cause a little bit of encouragement out there, really. So let's talk about plans coming up. We just did our big takeaway night, and that's caused us to reflect a little bit on what we could could be doing. We need to talk with the team about that. But
Yeah,
there's it might be if we're in this for a long haul, we develop those sort of ideas, isn't it? But we've also got Sunday Night Live coming up soon. We've got some fantastic speakers, haven't we? Interview
mm,
guests.
yeah,
So on the 31st of Jan, we got a guy who, basically took on sex trafficking in Cambodia and violence against women in Southeast Asia. Glenn Miles, he's just an amazing guy. He's now back in the UK, back in Wales. So he's going to come on live. But we've also got a captain of a Royal Navy warship coming on at one point, haven't we? We've got a kung fu
yeah.
expert, all believers.
Martial artist.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, Clive. So it's going to be quite amazing, I think. Got a few new little segments coming up as well. So that's Sunday
yeah,
Night Live. That's the 31st run, 8 week season, 31st of January. That's going to be good, isn't it? Quite
yeah.
excited
Eight,
about
9 weeks to the end of March. Yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So we've got that coming up. We're still doing our podcast, aren't we, mate? Still getting together
yeah.
on those.
Podcast. So yeah, you can get them on most podcast things. You just need to look up the Code Life podcast, and you'll find
Yeah,
that. Just while we're naturally and chatting, and you're having your lunch, and I know you've got a little thought for later. But I was
yeah,
reading this yesterday out of the Book of James, right? Because before our prayer meeting, I always take a little bit of time to ponder and have a little think, what's the Lord saying to us, and as a church, as ministries, and that. And
yeah,
this is in James is an amazing book because it's very straight speaking, isn't it? Very straight speaking.
yeah,
It says James 5 verse 7. Be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. You too be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. I mean, strictly speaking, it's nearer today than it was yesterday.
yep,
Don't grumble against one another, brothers, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Brothers, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. As you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You've seen and heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Above all, my brothers, don't swear, not by heaven or earth or by anything else. All you need to say is a simple yes or no,
mm,
otherwise you'll be condemned. And
mm,
I really thought, well, that's true, that's what a farmer does. Like he sows it all out there and he keeps looking after it and he don't see anything for months, so he's waiting for the rain, he's waiting for that moment when it all
yeah,
comes good. And even
yeah,
now, with all our technology and everything we got, if you ain't got the rain, you ain't got the crop. With all our technology, we're so dependent on God's grace. But I just struggle by that, the patience. Because at the
yeah,
moment we're waiting, we feel like we're just waiting for life to get back to normal, aren't we? We're just waiting and waiting
yeah.
and
We are.
waiting.
Yeah,
And then people get intense and narky with each other and get chipped up. And you look at some of the angle on social media and people being personal and bitter or hateful, particularly towards politicians and all of that. And I'm like, and the
yeah.
Lord says, don't do that. Patiently wait. The Lord's coming.
He is, mate.
Patient. Just keep your head full of grace. Be men of peace.
Yeah,
I just thought it was so powerful when I read that. It's important, isn't it? Really
yeah,
important.
mate. I like that. Let me read this thing from Spurgeon. Some of you, I've read this before. Spurgeon's Gems. I picked this
Yeah.
up in a charity shop. £1, absolute gold it is. Let me read this one to you. Heaven is a place of complete victory and glorious triumph. This is the battlefield. There is the triumphal procession. This is the land of the sword and the spear. That is the land of the wreath and the crown. This is the land of the garment rolled in blood and of the dust of the fight. That is the land of the trumpet's joyful sound, the white robe, and the shout of conquest. Oh, what a thrill of joy shall shoot through the hearts of all the blessed when their conquest shall be complete in heaven, when death
Wow.
itself, the last of foes, shall be slain, when Satan shall be dragged captive at the chariot wheels of Christ, when the mighty Saviour shall have overthrown sin and trampled corruption as the mire of the streets, when the great shout of universal victory shall rise from the hearts of all the redeemed. How cool is that? Heaven
Days
is
are
coming.
It's coming. So we've got it's a test of character right now, I think. Amongst
Yeah,
many other tests, like you can't see your family, homeschooling your kids,
yeah,
but you've got little kids. I haven't seen my mum and dad in face to face for months and months, 10 or 8 years. Blah blah blah
mm,
blah. And so it goes on for people. My daughter's had to shut her business down, back home and all that kind of stuff. But we
yeah,
patiently wait for the Lord. It's true, isn't it?
yeah, man.
Because we trust Him and we know He's good. No matter what
Yeah, we
happens,
do.
win, lose, or draw, He's good. We can patiently wait on Him.
So we're gonna do a little podcast on this. We've talked about this because we feel like this has been a moment, and there is a spiritual shift and stuff happening. So we're going to go back to our old theological books, and we're going to do a little bit on end times, talk a bit about it.
Yeah,
That could be a good podcast.
yeah. We'll. Yeah, I think we need to actually talk about it. The problem
Yeah,
is what I feel at the moment is if you say anything about the last days, you're a nutter. But eventually,
yeah,
it will be the last days. And if we don't at least talk about it, everyone will go, "You're a nutter," like they did to Noah. Because Jesus said, didn't he? As in the days of Noah, it will come
mm,
upon you like a flood. And everyone was
yeah,
mocking Noah. Now we're not saying this is we're in the last days. It's Christ, the resurrection of Christ, but we're not saying this is it. But if we don't be watchful and learn and educate the church, actually, I think we're more likely to be a false prophet if we don't warn the church and prepare it for tough times.
yeah, mate. That's an interesting point. We've talked about this before. As a church, a Christian church with the gift of prophecy, I didn't hear much about Corona and COVID before it kicked off. It was kind of like the church didn't really get a look on that before it arrived, did we?
No, and then everyone starts prophesying about it after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was an interesting one.
interesting. I was getting a lot of messages saying that Trump is going to be back in power before Biden is formally appointed. The people were prophesying actually. Well, that ain't happened.
No, it ain't happened.
So
He's
I think
president
my
now.
reflection is it's a time for a bit of humility.
Mm.
Time to be on our knees a little bit more. Time to listen a little bit and listen to each other. But within all of this, what I do find very frightening, and I mean frightening, is we are not allowed to talk about the last days of coming to Christ. Or you just get slightly looked at like you're a weirdo, or anyone who says anything like that, they're frowned upon. That, but the point is that those days will come, and so we
Yeah.
need to talk about it. It is biblical to talk about it. Jesus talks about it a fair bit, and the Old Testament, Daniel and stuff, and Isaiah,
Yeah.
full of prophecies. I think we can't treat that teaching with contempt. I think it goes wrong when we start saying polling machines went wrong. Is Revelation 7?
Yeah.
No. But we got to talk about we got to prepare the church for tough times because what was clear with coronavirus is we did not prepare the church for a hard time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think. Anyway,
Mate, it's fascinating. One of the things
um,
I've been looking at a lot during lockdown is all the SpaceX stuff, and not shifting the conversation too much here, but I think it's been helpful to focus on just something different. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it all closes in on you. But I've got a lot of time for Elon and SpaceX because they're doing stuff that we need at the moment. It's sort of we're in lockdown, but he's sending stuff to space. I like it.
well, he is a big legacy boy, isn't he? And which I like. But
Yeah,
he's thinking, he wants to use all this money up, getting us into outer space
yeah,
or getting us onto Mars because I think he thinks if I can do that, then one day
Mm.
we'll colonize the solar system or the galaxy or whatever.
Well,
He's thinking thousands and thousands of years into the future, isn't he? That's what he's thinking.
and
But
that's
the other one
well,
we're
yeah,
doing is
because
Jeff Bezos. He's the same. Jeff Bezos is the same, but he's going about it
yeah,
in a slightly quieter fashion. But
but it is this race to kind of get us to a place where humanity has a significant evolution step. They're calling it, where we become type one humans, where we're kind of incorporated with tech, and we're a
well,
step closer to
it's
not
quite worried, isn't it?
yeah we're a step closer to not being made extinct at some point. I think is the plan that we can
Augmenting.
colonize Mars. Yeah, augmented.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think that's what his
Would you
big
have a?
driver is.
What would you say if you know Currys started selling a chip that could be injected under your skin so you can open the door when you walk up to it? Turn your telly. Do you know what I mean? Like open and close doors or the lights. What would you?
A bit. I think. Well, if Curry's at it, I mean, we're quite a long way down the technological development. Like, you can go to Argos and pick it up, click and collect.
Well, no, I mean they're training.
Uh,
My daughter's a vet. They're training to do vaccines. So you can
yeah.
have loads of people being injected with they're trained to inject things under your skin, or like a little pressure gun. There you go.
I, I don't
My
think I'd
cat,
have it,
no,
mate. To be totally
right?
honest,
My cat's satanic because he's got a
it's
microchip in it.
chipped.
Yeah, it's chipped, but it controls his cat flap. You press the button on the cat flap that's hidden, and then you make him go through it. We tempt him out with a bit of duck treats, and then it goes, and it's programmed the cat flap to his microchip. So no other cat can come
Wow.
in. She had a bit of an issue with the neighbour's cat coming in eating all the foie gras. So now the only thing that can get in is Spencer. When he walks up to it, the latch drops because it picks it up on his microchip.
Mate, so that if that tech's available now, why can't we just
You
move it over to a human host? It probably
know,
already is. I mean,
it's 30 quid. 30 quid to get a microchip cat flap.
so would you have it done if it could open your car or open your house, or you just
I'm not
stand
letting
by the
nothing
door and it
under my.
opens up?
If it's on my forehead or my wrist, I'm not having
Really?
it. No. Well, if it's on your
Yeah,
forehead,
no,
it's a bit much, isn't it? It's a bit close to the
no,
knuckle, isn't it?
I wouldn't have it on my forehead. If it had
No, but
physical
in the Bible, it
development,
said
like
the mark of the beast is going on your head or your wrist. I think I
yeah,
just
that's what I'm
avoid
saying.
it.
If you don't have it there, you're all right.
I think so.
I,
Yeah.
I would
I mean,
have
I'm not
some
alarmed. I'm
augmented
not alarmed.
reality.
I think what if they started
Yeah.
saying, look, with all the terrorism and corona plagues and better than you have a passport or debit card, just put it on your skin.
Well, that's
We're
where it's
going
going to
down the
go.
rabbit.
I think that's
We're going down the rabbit hole
yeah.
here, mate. I tell you.
But it is technology and the way it's moving. I mean, I watched. We've talked a little bit about the robot dog, haven't we? I don't know if you've seen, but there's an episode of Black Mirror. Now, I'm not advocating you go and watch Black Mirror here. It's on Netflix. There's loads of other shows, but there is a show called Black Mirror. I started watching it and was not impressed, so I
Hmm.
ignored it. There's now 5 seasons out, I think. Anyway,
I
I
didn't
know.
like Black Mirror. It's all right.
Yeah. Have you seen Metalhead, the one with the dog, the robot dog?
Yeah, it's scary. They're
This
hunting
is what I'm
people down.
saying. Now, in America, they've got an institution called DARPA, which is all about developing tech. And a lot of the tech that we see has come from DARPA technology. So they are not only years, but they are way ahead in terms of what they're developing and how they're weaponizing this stuff. So I think military, I could be wrong here. And if the feed get cuts off, then we know I'm right. But I reckon your SAS boys, they'll have one of these robot dogs kitted up with sensors, and it goes on mission with them, and they chuck it in, and it can scan areas, and they're back out the way.
Like the famous Special Forces SAS battle, the biggest battle they've fought in recent times, I think, was a Tora Bora cave system. When
Right.
they went in is all knife combat, in these close confined
Yeah,
caves. But what if you get sent in a robot?
yeah. Can you imagine one of those or two of those running at you from out the dark? You're not gonna mess about. Those things are scary.
Yeah, I think so. So it's what's the name of the company again? Something Robotics, isn't it?
Boston Dynamics.
Boston Dynamics. Yeah, quite amazing. So if you go on YouTube, don't there's fake Boston Dynamics videos, but if you go to the Boston Dynamics YouTube feed and look at some of their robot dogs, what we're talking about here is not fiction. I mean, it's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, and mate, a lot of the tech is coming from DARPA. That's the thing. It's developed by military fellas. I mean, you only got to have a look. We've shared some of these videos. At the moment, we're getting these robots to dance and do silly moves, and you can't help but say like it's like Planet of the Apes. Do you remember? It's like we'll dance for you
Yeah.
now, but one day the tables are going to turn, and when it does, mate, I'm going to start digging a bunker in my garden. I think. I might go down. What do you reckon? Do you reckon dig a bunker? Would that be a good move?
I was thinking, back in the 80s when I was growing up, they used to put leaflets through your door about painting your pantry white and hiding it. In case you knew, basically it was like, for nuclear bomb drops, as long as you painted your pantry white and you can all hide in it, the cupboard under your stairs, you're all right.
Yeah.
But
The other
basically, you
question
dig a
is,
bunker,
yeah,
it's got to be very deep and very secure, isn't it?
but the sort of lingering question is, if you did
Mm.
survive an
Yeah.
apocalypse scenario, what's the point, firstly, of surviving if it's just a
Well, not
grueling,
really much.
bitter?
Not really much if you're a Christian.
No, no. But there is an inbuilt survival thing in me that says no matter what, you keep trying to survive.
Yeah.
I
Horrible,
think.
though, isn't it? But there is a fascination with the whole dystopia thing, definitely.
Yeah,
But what we need to do, I do think the church needs to, be open to analysing what God's given us about the last days. But the problem is
yeah,
people get obsessive about the beginning and the end. People get very obsessive about creation, get very obsessive about the last days, and they forget Christ and I hope that He
yeah,
gives us.
yeah,
So, my main passion obsession is you know Jesus Christ and making Him known. But so I connect the dots by thinking we need to prepare the church that when it's tough, you're going to be all right. You're in Christ if your life's submitted to Christ.
yeah.
But I think we've not been very good in the Western church at preparing the church for very tough times. That's my fear amongst all the silliness we're talking about. Um,
Well, maybe we can learn from the preppers because they're taking things seriously, aren't they? And spiritually, we could be prepping ourselves.
it's
Bit
spiritual
different.
preparation, really. And I think in this particular weird time now, for some people, life is going on as normal. For some people, life is harder than normal. But whatever,
Yeah,
I think we should be trying to use this time to get our faith a little bit deeper, stronger, um, a little bit more
yeah,
balanced,
and
a bit more humility.
something. Yeah, and that's something you've been saying. We've been texting about just like it's a bit of a Christiany term, but pressing into the Word of God. It's like just seeking God a bit more.
100%. Yeah. So what I do is, I leave a. I mean, I've got a very big house. I used to have a bigger house where I left a Bible in every room, but now I still do that. I've got a Bible by my bed, a Bible in this little study. I've got a Bible in the kitchen diner. I've got a Bible in the lounge by my chair. I've got my own chair that no one else is allowed to sit in. I've got a little cheap table next to it from Jisk, a little cheap. It's a cheap version of IKEA. So I've got a
Oh,
little, and I've got an NASB on there and a CSB. So
nice.
every morning I get up first with the cat. Me and Spencer go downstairs. I give him his tuna or whatever, and then make a brew. I sit back in my chair and I get into the word every morning. And
It's
then
good, mate.
when I'm plodding around the house, it's always in front of me. I sit in the kitchen, have a brew. It's there. I might flick about a bit, but I think we need that. We need that
Yeah,
now. You know.
Do you follow any particular devotions or Bible reading plans, or do you just go and read what you want to read?
So I've been using the Dwell app,
Yep.
which is pretty good. I like it. You can get different voices reading to you. I do like the African voice. It's really
Yeah.
cool reading the scriptures to me. But at the moment, I actually systematically reading through stuff um, for myself. So
Nice.
I'm just been reading through Philippians, through preaching that in the church, but also been reading through James and the Psalms again at the moment. And then I've been digging in. I confess, I've been digging into a bit of Revelation.
Nice.
I've got
It's nice.
David
It's
Paulson's
actually,
book.
yeah, it's nice to actually have a bit of a break from, well, maybe not for you, but from speaking and writing a ton of resources, because actually often you're reading the Bible for content for that rather than just personal devotion. Or
Letting it
if you're
speak.
leading
Yeah,
a church, yeah, any
yeah.
pastors watching, it's quite a lot of reading to give out rather than reading just for you and your own
Because obviously
study.
I'm leading the church still, and then I've got the Edge stuff, CVM stuff for you. So I do find that having my own little thing that I do,
Yeah.
you just for me is good. And I've got like over here. I don't know if I keep behind this cross. I can't hold on. I've got my little by that keyboard. I've got a little pile of little mini books by the cross.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're old common books of prayer, old devotional books. I've got a stack of hymn books behind me, and I do tend to dig into them a little bit as well. Yeah,
Yeah. You like a lot of the Methodist stuff, don't you? And early
yeah,
Salvation
I like a
Army.
bit of primitive Methodism, mate, and I like a bit of early Salvation Army. I like the robustness and the
Yeah.
discipline and this,
Yeah.
the whole way the sovereignty of God comes across. I do like it. I must
Yeah.
confess. The
There's
old
one in
school like
here.
that. I'm just going to check the comments see if anything's come up. No, just stuff about my cat and Glastonbury. Glastonbury's just been cancelled.
Has it?
Yeah, it's just Michael Bushby just put up that Glasgow's been cancelled. That's not a surprise, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
Let's just, before we go, let's have a see if anything's cropped up in the news. Other than that, what's the headlines at the moment? BBC News. No. Glastonbury Festival acts with great regret. Well, that's quite. I mean, they were crack on, weren't they? And actually, I think
Yeah.
we said when they said that we said, didn't we? That no way that's going to happen. Just
No.
can't see it.
No. Well, there you go. Sadly, it's another year of cancelled events, isn't it? It looks that way.
Yeah, because the problem is, booking infrastructure, paying out loads of money, then having to cancel people, and it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, it is.
we'll be making our
Mate,
decisions around our events in due course. We'll be in touch with everyone.
we will. We will. I've come on. Shall we have one more little Spurgeon gem?
Go on. Let's close with the Spurgeon gem.
This is one of my favourites. Ready? There is not a spider hanging on the king's wall, but hath its errand. There is not a nettle that groweth in the corner of the churchyard, but hath its purpose. There is not a single insect fluttering in the breeze, but accomplish some divine decree. And I will never have it that God created any man, especially any Christian man, to be a blank and to be a nothing. He made you for an end. Find out what that end is. Find out your niche and fill it. If it be ever so little, if it is only to be a hewer of wood or a drawer of water, do something in this great battle for God and truth. Spurgeon.
And on that note, I hope you've had a good lunch.